Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Gotta mix it up every once in a while. But yes, welcome back to Farlands or Bust. It is, woof, yes, I know. It is episode 515 of the series, and we are going to make our way out of the previous episode's hidey hole. A little bit of an awkward situation we're in here, but let's grab Wolfie. He's fine, although he's doing his best to find the highest perch of which to fall. And continue on. Let's go west, however. We did make this hidey hole into the side of a mountain. Kind of throw us off a little bit, but let's go west towards those far lands on Tuesday, October 5th, 2015. I realize that last episode I said it was Thursday, even though it was very literally Saturday. It's because I forgot to update that in my notes. If you've been with me any length of time, you'll know that I have a notepad. It is called questions-season6.txt on my computer, if you really want to know the details. I don't know why, but that's what it is. It's a plain text file where I copy and paste all the questions I'm going to answer, any topics or factoids I need, the current donation amount, as well as the episode and the current date. In this case, a little bit more difficult because I'm releasing these episodes a day later, but the date of release of the video. And whatever is written in this notepad shall be deemed as the truth and the word of gods, because I know nothing else other than what is upon this notepad. And even if it is indeed not even Thursday, but Saturday, I forget to update it, it will be Thursday. So I hope you enjoyed your 2 Thursdays last week. Oh man, you made the most of them, right? But yeah, I'm pretty sure that today, the day you're seeing this, if you watch these episodes on the day they're released, is Tuesday, October 5th, 2015. And a really important thing that's on my notepad is our donations to Child's Play charity. We did it, everybody. We reached 10% of our $60,000 goal. That means we are up to $6,024.99. The 99 cents is a marketing pricing scheme to make it seem less pricey than the full rounded dollar up. You know, that's the reason why retailers do that. But yeah, over $6,000. That's great. That's great news. I'm often sometimes worried that the pace may be too slow or whatever, or interest has weaned. But every now and again, and frequently actually these last few months, I've been reinvigorated. And we are continuing to raise money for Child's Play charity. And we had actually a lot of these are coming in from like very generous anonymous donations. Just an anonymous, no comment, no question donation of $300 helped us break through the 10% barrier. So I do appreciate whoever anonymously did that. And all the other donations that came in over the weekend and whenever. It's a great cause, helping get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. And helping us stay motivated, continuing to the Farlands here in Farlands or Bust. Indeed. Also, yeah, I guess since it is Tuesday, probably, if you do watch these when they are published in your YouTube feed, or perhaps Podbean if you listen to the podcast. Well, if you listen to the podcast, you're probably not going to go through much effort to check out Twitch Tuesday. Twitch Tuesday is a thing that's been consistently happening over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/KurtJMac, and I will often be live streaming, and then an episode of Farlands Bust will come out, and then I'll take a break to eat lunch as I play the episode live on stream, and y'all can discuss it with fellow Farlanders in the chat, and the live chat there is always good, and sometimes I'll pop in and answer questions or whatever in the chat. As I'm snarfing down what is quite probably a sandwich on gluten-free bread with potato chips and iced tea. That is my lunch every single day. I am so interesting and of such varied experiences and skills and food intake things. But yeah, that happens. So I mean, if you are just starting to watch this and maybe Maybe it is still just within the release of the video. All right, so long, boat. I guess it was nice knowing you. Just within the release of the video, if you want to just pop on over to twitch.tv/KurtJMac, there's always a link in the video description of all my videos, I think, leading you to my live stream page. You might be able to... We'll be watching this episode anyway, so you could always pop over there and then also see whatever game or other shenanigans we're playing. We can see what Minecraft blocks want to get swapped out on the Minecraft server, if a torch wants to be water, or maybe a torch one day will want to be a chicken or some other sort of animal. Who knows? We'll start punching chickens and they just all turn into torches or half slabs or furnaces or something. It'll be great. Watch me lose my mind. My mind will crack on the Minecraft server. But yeah, that's been happening. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a reminder of that. Careful, Wolfie. Oh, that boat just wants to go on its own. Fare thee well. Fare thee well. Woof. But yeah, speaking of questions and donations to Child's Play charity and whatever, I say we can jump right back into those. I don't know that too much, I'm trying to think, interesting has happened. I do realize The Martian, the film, has been released. I have not seen it. I do believe the next or earliest chance I will get to see it will be this weekend. So looking forward to that. Yeah, that's a movie I'll be looking forward to see. So I guess look forward to my opinions on it, I guess. But not yet. Have not seen it yet. I'm sure that's going to be a question that'll pop up. But regardless, let me answer some questions that I do have, hopefully, some answers to. This one from Failing. I almost thought it was Flailing. Failing Dutchman. What would you do for a Klondike? But no, that was a question that I already answered. What would you do when an all-destroying comet would come down to Earth in the next 34 days? Days is possessive. Or day is, perhaps. There's an apostrophe there. 34 days. That's not too much time to work with. I'm not saying I would be useful in the endeavor, but I would hope to try to do whatever possible to prevent such a thing. 34 days is nigh no time at all for any sort of evasive NASA fixie-uppy. I thought this was gonna be a thing. Woo! And it was a thing. A spawner, that is. So I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I probably would not be able to in any capacity assist. Ooh, a spider spawner. Ow, careful, Wolfie. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to sit you down. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I said it. I said I'm sorry. Really nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Do we have any more? There's the other one. Ooh, I'll take the iron and the bread. I guess I do need to recover a half a heart. And let's get out of here, Wolfie. Hup. Or, you know, whatever. If you want to push me over and not allow me to do such things. Where are we going? This way. But yeah, I don't know. I suppose this is sort of like a question like, what would you do if the end of the world was coming? What were the things you would do? That's a tough question. I'm these hypotheticals, I'm no good with the hypotheticals, because then I start to think, well, if everybody, you know, you think of the chaos and the panic. If everybody knew the end of the world was coming, they would try to do all the things that they wanted to do, but never had a chance to do. So then it would be chaos of people trying to do all these things. Like, I want to go skydiving. I want to walk the Great Wall of China, or you know, this, that, or the other. So I'm feeling like it would be none of those things would be happening for anybody, because you would then think all of the airline pilots would want to do those things as well. So they're not going to fly you around the world to try to have your dreams be followed or anything like that. So I don't know. I suppose the pessimistic side of me would say that we would be a bit restricted in our activities. Beep, bop, boop, bop, beep, beep, bop. Somebody's going to look at that and think, what sort of Morse code is that in the sand, on the dirt? It must mean something. No, I was just emptying my inventory is all. So yeah, I honestly don't know. And I'm sure you're looking for some sort of entertaining, crazy answer. I mean, even like, oh, it'd be cool. Okay, I'll you know, for the first and last time, I'll do a race car event. But who would hold such an event if everybody's busy doing more important things? And of course, you know, the standard answer is, oh, be with family, whatever. Nuts to those people. No, but I mean, that's like the standard. That's the thing everybody would say, I'm sure, right? Spend time with family or what? I mean, it would be, yeah, I don't know. I would hope in some capacity to be able to assist. And I'm sure 34 days, kind of, yeah, not really time to set up any sort of rocket other than some sort of, I think the last ditch would be some sort of ballistic missile attack on it to try to divert it away, but even that would probably not be enough. But I'm sure we would have more than 34 days lead time, especially for a comet. Asteroid, those can be kind of freaky and out of nowhere, but let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And why specifically 34 daysness? I'm very curious as to the meaning of that. Is that like a pop culture reference? Is there some sort of book or show or movie or something that there is some sort of comet coming in 34 days? Is that the plot of Deep Impact? I don't quite remember. Careful, Wolfie! I don't quite remember the scenario surrounding that. So yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say indeed. But I appreciate the donation and the question. An anonymous question came in. I am wondering, would you ever let someone else take your place and walk for an entire day in Farlands or Bust? If so, who? And if not, why? I've considered it, but it's logistically difficult because of the full 18.7 gigabyte world save, and I'm sure I wouldn't need to theoretically give the entire world save. I will only have to give the most recent chunk updates, because the chunk updates that we've passed up have already been loaded and unloaded, so it really doesn't matter. So yeah, theoretically I could save time doing that, handing it to somebody. I don't know. I mean, it would have to be. It would have. Yeah, probably not. I mean, it would have to be somebody, like I've always said, like Brian, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111, you know, a long-term, somebody who seems as invested in the journey as I am myself, kind of, or you know, somebody of those likes. But then it would have to, I was kind of thinking it would have to be on the terms that what happens to them wouldn't have a direct effect on me, in which case it wouldn't be the actual Farlands of Bust journey, right? I'm talking about like, oh, if they die or if Wolfie dies while they're playing, then I share no responsibility and can invoke the hidey hole paradox to undo their misfortunes, right? But then it just brings me back to then why do it at all? You know, it's really more of a let's give you this. Hey, Wolfie, whoop. Extra bone there. There we go. Wow, look at this ocean of ice that was apparently hit by a meteor storm. Look at all these holes in the ice. This is actually a little bit dangerous for Wolfie. Although he seems to be doing fine. No, don't go, don't turn around. Don't turn around, you noodle. Alright, I gotta keep, hold on. This is a concentration time right now. We are concentrating on making sure that Wolfie does not spawn under the ocean, under the ice. So we're going to come over here. Get your axe out, just in case. But there you are. All right, you got wet at some point. Oh, where's my compass? There it is. Were we might have been going the wrong way. It's a distinct possibility. No, I don't think we were. I think we just took this detour to make sure Wolfie spawned. So yeah, I'm gonna go with probably no, just for that reason. It's kind of, and people even suggest, oh, make it like a multiplayer server, which I don't think you can do anymore because the authentication servers don't support this version. Make it a multiplayer server and have like a guest along with you or whatever. I don't know. A vast, I think, majority of what makes this series a little bit different and a little bit special is that it is a single-player world. It's kind of how Minecraft was played for so long before servers became a common thing, you know, public servers and private servers and Mindcracks and, you know, modded servers and, you know, minigame servers or whatever. So it's kind of a throwback, not only in the version and the terrain generation, but in just the way it was played. It is a very solo journey and solo experience. Obviously, all of you are experiencing it with me, but yeah. So even handing it over to a different character would be weird, even just for a day. I mean, I could see certain scenarios, certain reasons to do that for a special event or a special time. But right off the bat, that's not something I would ever really seek out, I don't think. Another Minecraft question from Matthew B. Since we know you like the new water temples so much, but Tish, that sound effect, jokes. Will you be visiting the new end cities on Mindcrack anytime soon? I don't know if anybody is. I think that has been agreed upon that we will not be doing the Ender Dragon or any of the new end content until 1.9 is fully released. So we're not even... We'd have to reset the end, I think, because all of the stuff needs to be rebooted pretty much without rebooting the overworld. So I think that's the agreed upon thing. I don't know. I saw who did it. I think BWO was doing a peep show where he looks at snapshots, and I saw him kind of beat the dragon and then visit that end place or whatever, where you got to throw an ender pearl into that weird little portal block in the sky, and it was interesting. And those effects, the floaty effects, those sort of effects that are caused by the different mobs in there was interesting, but I still didn't see a point. Much like the water temples, I don't see a point. There's no plot, or not that I want there to be a plot, but there's no integration like that. Much like the end in general doesn't seem like there's a point. Although they might be changing that, it seems with what the multiple dragons, it seems like maybe they're working towards having dragons be a rideable mob or a tameable or something to bring to the overworld. I don't know. I'm not 100% even clued into what the plan is there. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like there's reason. Like the Nether to me kind of... Obviously I don't visit the Nether that much, so it in and of itself doesn't have a reason, but it just seemed like another biome to me. It didn't need to be a reason. It was just a biome. There were a few things you could get there that you couldn't get elsewhere, and yes, I know there's probably things you can get in the end villages in the end that you can't get elsewhere, but it also just doesn't... It doesn't seem like a nice place to live. It's the same. I guess I do feel the same way about the Nether, which is why we just went once and will not be returning again. Although people did very adamantly suggest I plan to do so for episode 666, which isn't that far off in the grand scheme of things. But I don't know. We'll have to think about that. Uh-oh, Wolfie, did you get trapped under the ice? Where are you at? Where are you at, you goober? Oh, are you trapped under here? Oh, there you are. What the heck? What kind of crazy teleporting nonsense are you up to these days? So yeah, I don't know. They seem interesting. It's a new structure to explore, I suppose. And it doesn't seem as difficult. I was trying to find the words I was going to use there for that. It doesn't seem as difficult, like overly oppressively difficult as the water temples do. The thing that kills me with the water temples, aside from the water guys that get whatever they're called, is the mining fatigue. Just makes it takes away in my opinion, the core mechanic of Minecraft, the game, is being able to change and shape and break through your environment. And that's super frustrating, man. It's totally unnecessary. But no, either way, I wouldn't be able to, because we all agreed to not do any of that stuff until we have to reset the end world to kind of redo that as 1.9 is fully released. So yeah. Crumbalina says, I've noticed that since you've been correcting for the XY coordinate offset, yeah, it was at one point, 64,000 off in the south direction, and at the last time I pressed F3, I was only 6,000 off or 4,000 off, which was pretty good. It's possible I've overstepped the 0 marker and I'm going in the other direction now. But they ask, I've noticed that since you've been correcting the coordinates, that you've been finding more spawners again. I don't know if that's related. You've been finding more spawners again, and way more water and ice. Certainly more ice. I feel like we've had many episodes like this episode, which is just snow biome for days and ice oceans for days. Do you think these might have any correlation? I want to say the ice thing, maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt there's any... I can actually probably guarantee you that there's no... just because I'm traveling closer to the north-south 0 axis, that the world is as randomly generated as it is anywhere else on that axis. So it's kind of probably just dumb luck. It's just the world I'm in right now, just like we were seeing, and we continue to see noticeably more gravel, like full gravel ocean beaches than sand. It just seems it's perhaps something we only noticed and we thought was weird, but it could just as frequently happen around 0, 0. So no, I don't think there's any correlation to that. It's a little bit annoying because snow biomes are by far my least favorite of the biomes, but we'll deal with it, won't we, Wolfie? Sort of, maybe? I don't know. Let's go to sleep and continue dealing with it in the morning. And a snow biomesness and a zombie in the distance and a skeleton over there. Welcome to Lounge Singing Night with KurtJMac. Let's see, we got a lot of Far Lands West questions here. This one, not. Next one is not, however. This is a video gaming question, however. Comrade Keck. I almost called you a commander. Comrade Keck. Is there anything that would make you go back and resume your Euro Truck Simulator series? Probably not, although I do hear, aren't they working on or releasing soon, or have just announced, but is still a far way away, a new edition of the US trucking simulator? That I would play, simply because I know the traffic laws and what the signs mean more often. That was the main problem with Euro Truck Simulator. I'm like, what's the speed limit? What does that number in the circle mean? Is that kilometers or miles? What side of the road should I be driving on? What's up with this channel situation? So, yeah, I would probably try that. But overall, I think I stopped playing because it got got quite repetitive, and it also, I do feel like the gameplay itself is very dependent on that tycoon-style gameplay where you gain money doing jobs, you pay fines, you pay taxes, you pay, whatever, and then you hire people, you buy cars, more trucks, and hire staff to do the driving for you, and then get better jobs and buy buildings in different places. That sort of stuff does not interest me with games. I can't pin down a reason why, other than it's not an interesting gameplay mechanic for me, which is why even the career quote-unquote mode of Kerbal Space Program has all the budgets and the ratings and the jobs and the hiring of astronauts and scientists and stuff that it just appeals zero amount to me. So I just never got into those. I played like Roller Coaster Tycoon for a little bit, but maybe only for like 2 worlds, and I'm like, well, I think I'm done here. I think we're done here. We can all wrap this up, right? So, I mean, even stuff like StarCraft has that sort of resource mining, and then use those resources to buy this stuff, and even the economy aspect of RTS games. That's what those are called, right? I'm properly speaking to my gaming brethren and sisterin. Yeah, all that aspect of it, and similarly with racing games and driving games, having winnings and credits, and Dirt Rally is okay-ish with that, in that it's kind of mostly hands-off. You don't have to do it, but certainly helps to do it. And once you have a certain tier of winnings, then you really don't have to worry about budgeting until you want to buy a new, really expensive car or anything like that. You know, with your engineers or your people who fix your car and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of the aspect. And I'm sure that's going to be in the American trucking simulator. I'm sure they're going to have the same setup. But yeah, that one I might give a try. With the steering wheel would be interesting, I suppose. Yeah, Weasel. Yeah, Weasel asks, "You've said in the past you've had a desire." Ooh, I have. "To learn to fly and get your pilot's license." Oh, that. Have you considered or heard of powered paragliding? Whoa, this is a dense forest that we're in. It's not very smart. It's very dense. Have you ever heard of powered paragliding? It is the lightest form of powered flight. I recently underwent training and I'm in the process of getting a license, required in Canada, but not in the US. Well, that really improves my confidence. And I can tell you, if you're interested in flying but find the social and regulatory aspect of it overwhelming, powered paragliding might be a great thing to look into. Is that like what Mo did at the end of the boxing episode of The Simpsons, where he put on the fan and then started going around the world and saving people? The fan, what was this? He had like a parachute, and he had a fan, like an actual like fan, like a you know what I'm saying, a propeller fan. And you want, is that what you're talking about? Because that's what I think of paragliding. And then I'm also thinking of gliders, which is a different form of flight as well. Like hang gliding I'm also thinking of, but then there's also the gliding, the rigid gliding aircraft that have to be towed up, and then, you know, those seem kind of cool. That seems like an interesting way to fly. But no, I have not considered. There's also, isn't there ultralights, which are pretty much fabric skinned ultralight aircraft that have less regulation than actual full aircraft in pilot license sort of situations? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Wolfie doesn't know either. I don't know of any, like, places that do that sort of thing, or where you would even begin with that, to be honest. I'm sure it's not... I'm sure it's not as expensive, but I'm sure it's not cheap. And only I suppose you could attest to that. It's kind of like the... Oops, sorry, Wolfie. Kind of like the difference between, like, having a rowboat versus a speedboat or a yacht, right? You know, stuff like that, or a jet ski versus a yacht, you know, or a kayak. I've kind of wanted to try kayaking. I did do that whitewater rafting in Oregon on the what was it called? The gorge, the Royal? No. The something River Gorge. Columbia River Gorge. There was a little offshoot of the river that I did whitewater rafting. That was fun. And I'd like to get into kayaking, not whitewater kayaking, but like there are, despite being the middle of the desert in Phoenix on the outside, there are man-made lakes from dams, and then those dams provide the water for the city and power and whatever. There are recreation areas, is what they're called, that have marinas and boats and stuff, but there's also people who go with jet skis and kayaks seem interesting to me. A little bit more of a solitary... I don't know, I'm not that much into like canoes or like actual rowboats or anything, but like kayak seems kind of a low-cost, easy-ish thing to do. I just don't know how you get started with that sort of thing without, you don't just buy a kayak and jump in and then tip over and drown. I'm not sure how to get started with that. And there are indeed kayak attachments for your Subaru's roof rack or whatever, so that I've kind of been interested in. And I might try out eventually. Who knows? Who knows? Only time will tell. But yeah, I don't know, I've almost I've not given up, but I've kind of put the whole flight thing into the back of my mind and kind of like, we can deal with that later. We can, when we're old and decrepit and we're running out of time to fulfill our dreams, that's when we can worry about that. How about one from Delta Whiskey? A one-word question. Spoiders? Although he spelled it spiders, but spoiders? Yes, spiders. They exist. I'm assuming you're... Ooh, look at this one little tree. Well, one giant big tree just hanging out over here. Let's go say hello. I'm assuming you're asking what my thoughts on spiders are. Like, am I good and absolutely terrified of spiders? Or am I okay with spiders? I appreciate the existence of spiders. Wolfie, there you are. And I know the going term is spider bros. Spiders don't necessarily want to harm you, but they are good to have around to keep, actual pesky pests out. Your crickets, your cockroaches, your other sort of nefarious bug creatures out of your home. So it's good to have spoiders around. However, they do kind of give me the willies sometimes. Moving to Phoenix, one of the things, other than the immense heat that keeps people away, is the prevalence of creepy crawlies. You got your spiders, your tarantulas, your wild tarantulas, your scorpions. You've got your scorpions. That tends to keep people away. And then your slithery snakes and rattlesnakes and all that fun jazz. I've seen none of those. Hello, Wolfie, over here. I've not seen a scorpion. I'm sure it depends on where you live and what sort of environment is around your home. But I've not seen any scorpions. I've not seen any tarantulas nor rattlesnakes. I've seen a few garden snakes or whatever. Certainly a lot of lizards. Lizards are good too for keeping away the bad guys, the bugs that you don't want to have around. But not seen any of the bigger things. The black widow spiders, however, that end up pretty much taking over they live low to the ground, around the base of your house. And those caught me off guard. The first one I saw, I'm like, oh god! I've never seen a black widow spider, and I know that if they bite you, that like your finger can fall off, so that's no good. And then I noticed 5 more as I continued to survey around the house. Those, I'm afraid, I had to get rid of. I appreciate their service into keeping the cockroaches and whatever else away, but they also could cause problems for an unsuspecting... Oh, it's dark in here, isn't it? For an unsuspecting dog who gets out in the yard and may stick his nose, or her nose, excuse me, where she doesn't... I'm talking about Eva. Where she doesn't belong, and that would be bad news. I don't know what sort of reactions a dog would have to those. So those I had to get rid of. There was a big spider I had to kill once. That was a little bit creepy. It was brown and it was quite reclusive. I hope that isn't what it was, because those are even more dangerous than black widows. But yeah, spiders are okay. But I'm generally not one to like collect them and set them free. If they're like on the ceiling or out of the way, or the little tiny guys, then all right, carry on. But if they're, you know, in the kitchen or places I don't want them to be, I'm like, sorry, my man, and or female spider, I don't know, but you're gonna have to be dispatched of, I'm afraid. Spiders, everybody. How about them apples? And how about these apples? Yes! 10% apples. 10% of our apples have been collected for Child's Play charity, and by apples, I mean fundraiser dollars. $6,000 raised for Child's Play charity this season, looking for $60,000, and then when we do reach that is when Flobathon the 5th takes place. That's right, 5th, 4th, 5th, or the 6th, 4th, 5th, the 5th Flobathon takes place, and, wait. Yeah, 5th. And then we press F3. Yeah, Wolfie knows. 5th. Woof. And we find out how far we've walked since the last one by pressing F3. So that's how that works. And I hope everybody had a good Tuesday. I hope you were able to join me for Twitch Tuesday. If you were able to. If it's still Tuesday, you might as well check it out to see if it's still going on. And we'd be glad to have you. And if not, I suppose I will see you on Thursday for the next episode of Far Lands of Bust. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. But Tish, that sound effect, jokes.